Have you ever wondered why those lush, perfectly straight vegetable rows in industrial agriculture are the very places that consume the most pesticides? It's because they are forcing plants to live in isolation and fear. A 10,000-head cabbage patch is nothing more than a giant, all-you-can-eat buffet inviting caterpillars to total destruction. Don't turn your garden into a monotonous factory. Today, I will reveal the secret of smart symbiosis, the way we arrange different species so they can protect, nourish, and encourage each other to grow. The pinnacle of gardening is when you never have to pick up a pesticide bottle, because nature has already established its own multi-layered security system. In nature, no species exists in isolation. A healthy forest is a complex society with every layer imaginable, from giant ancient trees to tiny green mosses. When we force plants into monoculture, growing only one type, we break nature's immune system. Gardening with best friends is how we bring that diversity into our own backyards. You will find yourself no longer fighting pests, but rather operating a harmonious community. Why do plant species need one another? From the perspective of biology and allelopathy, every plant emits its own unique biochemical signals. The first, the scent maskers, distracting the enemy. Most pests find their targets through a highly sensitive sense of smell. When you plant a row of cabbage next to bushes of lemongrass, ginger, or marigolds, the powerful essential oils of these aromatic plants create an olfactory fog. The moth becomes confused and cannot locate the cabbage leaves to lay its eggs. This is long-distance disease prevention without spending a single cent on chemicals. The second, the silent geological engineers, nutrient miners. Look at the combination of legumes and fruit trees. Native bean species, black beans, butterfly peas, winged beans, have a special ability. They live in symbiosis with rhizobium bacteria to pull nitrogen, N2, from the air and convert it into easily digestible nitrates for the soil. When you plant climbing beans around the base of a papaya or orange tree, the beans are pumping free nitrogen fertilizer into the ground for their friend. In return, the tall fruit tree provides shade, preventing the bean roots from drying out. The third, the Sunshade Alliance, intelligent canopy. Lettuce and Malabar spinach dread the harsh midday sun, but crave moisture. If you plant them under the shade of wild tomatoes or corn, they will stay lush and green all year round. The tall plants act as natural shade cloth, while the low plants cover the ground to keep the moisture in for the taller plants' root systems. Let me tell you about a legendary formula from ancient indigenous people, one that modern science still bows to today. Corn, beans, squash. The corn acts as the big brother, standing tall and sturdy to serve as a living trellis. The beans climb the corn stalks to reach the light, while silently fixing nitrogen for the soil. The squash crawls across the ground with its massive leaves, acting as living mulch to prevent weeds and keep the soil cool. This is a perfect operational logic regarding space and nutrition. You harvest 3 types of food from the exact same area without needing extra fertilizer or pulling a single weed. The professional significance here is the optimization of the leaf area index, LAI, and resource use efficiency. Instead of leaving soil bare for weeds to hijack, we fill every ecological niche with beneficial plants. In your garden, learn to pair them up. Plant basil next to tomatoes to make the fruit more flavorful and repel fruit flies. Intercrop green onions with carrots so the onion scent repels carrot rust flies. Plant moss roses around vegetable beds to attract beneficial predators like ladybugs and parasitic wasps to guard the garden. Many people mistakenly believe that planting many types of crops will take more effort to care for. The reality is quite the opposite. When you establish a symbiotic garden, you are building a self-healing body. 90% reduction in pest control costs. Because natural predators, birds, frogs, beneficial insects, have found a home in the diversity of your garden. 70% reduction in labor. You no longer have to separate the tasks of fertilizing this plant or weeding that one. Everything happens in sync. Multi-layered yield. Instead of harvesting one crop and leaving the land empty, you have leafy greens at the bottom, vegetables in the middle, and fruit at the top. The garden always has something to pick all year round. Smart gardening is knowing how to use the personality of one plant to compensate for the weakness of another. The tall ones take the sun. The low ones keep the moisture. The aromatic ones repel pests. And the legumes enrich the soil. It is a closed loop where the gardener acts only as an observer and coordinator. You will have more time to sit and drink tea, watching nature flourish, instead of struggling with petty worries. The greatest lesson a symbiotic garden teaches us is not just how to grow vegetables, but how to live. Looking at how a tiny bean vine leans on a sturdy cornstalk, or how the squash silently protects the earth, we see the beauty of interdependence. This world does not operate on fierce competition to destroy one another, but on cooperation to coexist. Your garden becomes a true paradise when you stop viewing it as a dry food production factory and start seeing it as a community of green friends. When you put a plant in the ground, ask yourself, who would this friend like to live next to? That is when you begin gardening with your heart and a true understanding of nature. Zero-cost gardening, effortless mulching, and smart symbiosis. These three pieces form a new lifestyle. Live green, live slow, and live smart. You don't need to be wealthy to have a beautiful garden. You only need a sincere love for Mother Earth and a mind ready to learn from the smallest things around you. Let your garden tell a story of harmony, and remember, when we take care of the soil and the plants correctly, they will take care of us in the most generous ways imaginable.